Hi all, I am a faculty of Department of ECE Swati. I am going to present a small topic under telecommunication switching network. So it is a very important topic in this subject. So I was handling this subject last semester. So I would like to share this topic. So the topic here is synchronous optical networks, otherwise called as Sonet. So here we are going to see about Sonet, and also we are going to see what is the introduction to Sonet, some of the Sonet layers, architecture, frames, strings and all those things. Okay, so it covers maximum all the details about Sonet. So another thing I want to tell here is Sonet is a synchronous optical network that is similar to uh, SDH. So SDH is nothing but a synchronous digital hierarchy. So both the Sonet and synchronous digital hierarchy, both are some of the standard protocols that is used for communication. So we will go for an introduction, what is Sonet, and introduction to Sonet. Okay, so Sonet, it is nothing but, as I told in a previous slide, synchronous optical network and synchronous digital hierarchy. So Sonet is a synchronous optical network. It is similar to synchronous digital hierarchy, but is standardized protocols. So this both Sonet and SDH now is used for transferring multiple digital bit streams synchronously. So it transfers the data or signals synchronously over optical fibers using lasers or highly coherent light from light emitting diodes. Okay, so at low transmission rates, data can also be transferred via an electrical interface. Okay, next the method was developed to replace this. So this before the Sonet and SDH, there was another method called PDH. It was developed, this Sonet and SDH was developed to replace this PDH, which also known as fully synchronous digital hierarchy system, for transporting large amount of telephone calls and data traffic over the same fiber without synchronization problems. So by the use of this PDH, there was a lot of synchronization problems. So to overcome the disadvantages of this PDH, Sonet and SDH was identified or was developed. So we'll see how this Sonet was originally designed for a public telephone network. So it was independently developed in USA and Europe for synchronous transmission of signals. So this Sonet network, it uses a TDM multiplexing, so which means a time division multiplexing, which divides the time synchronously while transferring the signals from one end to another, from sender to receiver. So here all the systems in the clock, all the clocks in the systems are locked to the master clock, so which contains a fiber optic equipments. So here there is a bit weight is commonly, the Sonet is commonly transmits the data. The speed of the transmission of the data in the Sonet is between 155 megabytes per second and 2.5 gigabytes per second. And the most interesting characteristics of Sonet is that it supports a ring topology. So that is the most important characteristics of Sonet. Okay. So next we will go for Sonet layers. So Sonet layers is nothing but, it has a 4 types of layers, which means path layer, line layer, section layer and photonic layer. So by seeing the diagram itself, we can know that path, line and section, these three comes under data link, and the photonic layer alone comes under physical layer. Okay, so we'll see what these 4 layers represents in the Sonet. So path layer is responsible for the movement of a signals from its optical source to its destination. So it is from the source to destination, whatever the movement of a signal is there, it is responsible to the path signal. So just we will know what is each layer, and the next slide I'll show you the architecture of the Sonet. In that you can know how these layers are used in the Sonet architecture by using the Sonet devices. Okay. So line layer it is used for the signal across a physical line. So it is used for a movement of a signal across a physical line. Then section layer it is used across a physical section, handling framing, scrambling or error control. Again, photonic layer it corresponds to the physical layer of OSI model. So it corresponds to the layer of a OSI model. Next we'll go for a Sonet architecture. So this is the architecture of Sonet, which has ad hoc multiplexer, regenerator, then path termination, line termination, section termination and all those things. Okay. So by the diagram itself, we can know where the path layer is used, where the line layer is used and where the section layer is used. So the path layer is between the path termination and path termination, and the same thing, the line layer will be between the path and the line and the path, and all those things. So by looking at the diagram, you can know how this path layers are connected to the Sonet devices. Okay, so here in this architecture of the Sonet system, no, it has devices, we have connections, and we have the signals that are passing through the devices through some connections. So we are going to see what are those. Okay, so first we will see signals. So signals in Sonet. So this defines a hierarchy of an electrical signaling levels called as STS, which means synchronous transport signal. So the beginning itself, I have told that Sonet is it is a network that is used to transfer the signals synchronously. So that's why it is also called as synchronous transport signals. Corresponding to optical signals is called as optical carriers. So in terms of optical fiber, so by through optical fiber, they're transmitting some of the signals synchronously. So that is the meaning they have given here. Next, come to the devices. What are the devices used here is synchronous transport signal multiplexer or demultiplexer, regenerator, add drop multiplexer, and terminals. Here ADM is nothing but add or drop multiplexer. Sometimes the signals may drop to the, it will not come up to the level. Sometimes by adding some extra signals to the dropped signal, this will be used. Okay, so here the devices that are used here are STS multiplexer or demultiplexer, regenerator, add drop multiplexer, and terminal. Next, connections. As I said already, the Sonet line, path, line, and section layers are connected to across the Sonet devices. So this is the architecture of Sonet